Hello. Welcome to another episode of our Umineko series. Dawn of the Golden Witch is what we're playing today. Hey Kat, thank you for the 6 months. Holy shit. That's a long time already, damn. I had a good Christmas. I hope you had a good one too. How are you doing? Also, my stream elements died a little bit, but it looks like it's back. Let me just, check that real quick. 6 months watching Umineko, damn. I mean, I have been streaming this for a year now, which is crazy to think about, but this is the 52nd episode of the whole series, enough for a whole year, so it's been more than a year. Yeah. And I intend to finish it. Quiet but calm, that sounds nice. Mine's chaotic, but like in a fun way. Alright. Let's just get right into it. I will start up the game first, because you can't start the game without starting the game. Floor is made of floor. Yeah. And then I'll do a recap from last week. And then I'll go over the content warning. Because I had to, drop that one a little early for, tech reasons. Alright. Yeah, you can't read a book unless you open the book either. It's just basic logic stuff. Erika is the content warning, true. Just all of it, not actually all of it, surprisingly, but oh, she could be. I'm also gonna, just scooch myself over a little bit. There we go. Alright. What happened last time? Alright, so we did a lot last time. We did, puzzles. We played some puzzles with Erika, who washed up on the island again, and very quickly succeeded in annoying absolutely everyone. Absolutely everyone. And after that, we dealt with someone stuck in a room. And we don't know who it is, we don't know where. They're stuck, but it seems to be inside the mansion while the family conference is going on. And they want to get out so desperately that they're considering cutting themselves up into little bits to escape through the shower drain. So that was horrific. Maybe I should have done the content warning first, huh? Yeah. I usually do that first, for a reason, I think. Anyway. We also have another little story arc. Oh, there's your content warning again. What the fuck? I think the timer's broken too. Beatrice, who is essentially like newly hatched Beatrice's soul, but like without her memories, has been doing some reading of, the actual Beatrice's story and the message bottles that have been left. And it didn't really help her. Then somehow through her own portrait, she meets another version of herself, who, rather than being the Beatrice we all know and love, is the legend, right? The myth. The stories that have started circling about her, saying that, she plays pranks, she's the ruler of the night in the mansion, she doesn't like spiders, that sort of thing. And yeah, together they vow to figure out what the fuck is going on and how to become Beatrice. Because they both feel like, hey, we should be one person. And yeah, so she was reading about herself, having no clue who that person is, which is gotta be weird, right? It's like, I don't know who that is, but it's you. Yeah. But they're gonna find out together what, how to become Beatrice again, like the real one. And yes, the person stuck in the room did try to escape through the window. It did not go well. It did not go well at all. They hurt themselves in doing so because the window grew teeth. Yep. And then that's when they just, considered the shower drain. So as you're, oh boy, I did not mean to scroll on this particular window. Okay, so as you might imagine, a story in which a window grows teeth and gnaws on someone's arm has some content warnings attached to it. And the content warnings for this arc of the story are Erika, who is terrible, and you will not enjoy it when she's around. She does horrible things. Character deaths, detailed descriptions of gore and body horror, child abuse, discussions and mentions of suicide, and misogyny. So keep that in mind. You want to know something, Kat? People would absolutely talk about me being a super secret spy because that's like a running gag in my friend group. Thankfully, it's not serious because that would have been scary if I ever did lose my memory. All right. One slight note: I'm wearing glasses, and I'm still getting used to them. So sometimes my eyesight is not super sharp because I can only use them in I have to hold my head a certain way to see properly with them, and I don't sit still much. They don't mess up the cool eye patch or the tracking, which is a relief. But I'm occasionally gonna. I have a super high cylinder, so that's just how it is. They double checked everything today, and it's all fine. It's just I need to get used to it and sit more still, and that's gonna be the hard part. I'm too twitchy. So yeah, I might stumble over words here and there a little bit, but it should be fine. It's not that bad. Just, I worry, I worry, but it'll be fine. Anyway, I'm gonna move this window to where it should be. There we go. Don't squint so hard your eyes fall out. I don't know if that's no, I guess that for some people that's physically possible. But yeah, no, it'll be fine. Alright, so let me just check where we are at. Okay. We were literally... We're just dropping in mid-scene. Okay, good to know. Alright. Okay, Shannon voice. Back then I was, and I guess I still am, a bit of a klutz. I'd always forget where I'd put things, or intend to lock something but then forget. I caused a lot of trouble. I remember how Natsuhi used to get mad at you all the time. George, why are you laughing at her? But eventually, Shannon managed to overcome her forgetfulness. Oh, and how'd you do that? It wasn't anything big, but I got into the habit of writing things down. I write down wherever I put something important. For things that were part of the daily routine, I made a checklist and always made sure to check it. So, did you see Beatrice, or didn't you? Oh, I didn't see her directly, but, some very strange things did happen. She was talking about a certain summer night. It was when Shannon was doing the nightly rounds. From her perspective, it was a ghost story. From the witch's perspective, it was just the story of a little summer night's prank. My little sister, do you understand the anti-magic toxin that humans possess? No. What is that, One-sama? The time of witches has long since passed. Those vile humans who claim to control everything came to deny our existence and possess a strong toxin. Is that toxin harmful to us? It is extremely dangerous. If it got to us, our forms would probably evaporate in an instant. However, one thing we do have in our favor is the fact that our existence is still extremely weak. Because of that, the toxin does not affect us greatly. At worst, it can only transform us into mist for a time. However, we'd rather avoid it if we can, right? Correct. Yes, I see that you are me. You understand quickly. The older sister appeared to be haughty at first, but perhaps because she was so happy to have met her double and little sister, she was more than willing to teach her anything she wanted to know. The first thing she had taught her was that they were witches, a different type of being than humans. Beato had thought that she wasn't a witch because she couldn't use magic, but apparently, she was still a witch nonetheless. Then, she was taught that witches such as her, unlike humans, were bound by various restrictions. The greatest of those restrictions was the anti-magic toxin possessed by humans. So, in other words, we mustn't enter a human's field of vision. Correct. You can think of it as though human eyes radiate the toxin. If they see you, it is the same as your body being burned. Though they are lesser in extent, being heard or sensed can also result in contact with the toxin. So it's dangerous just for us to get close to humans. Wasn't Father a human? Why am I not burned by Father's toxin? If we stock up magical power and have it acknowledged by humans, that toxin can be reduced drastically. In other words, by having our existence acknowledged by humans, we make them lose their toxin, making it possible for us to appear before them once more. I see. Simply put, as we are now, we can only exist when humans aren't around. We are still very lacking in magical power, which makes us inferior to even a stray cat hiding from humans in the shadows. The main goal of the older sister was to gain a large supply of magical power and be revived as a great witch strong enough to have no fear of the anti-magic toxin. For that purpose, she had wandered around the mansion night after night, striving to regain her magical power and reduce the anti-magic power of the humans. The powerful previous Beatrice, whom she had read about in Featherine's library, had appeared openly in front of humans and had even toyed with them at will. According to her big sister, such a level of power was most impressive. To think that a witch could appear openly before humans and use magic at will. A witch like that would be so great that even I can hardly imagine it. Is that what we will eventually become? Yes. She was like a witch from a picture book, appearing openly before the humans of the mansion and summoning magic and underlings at will. How inspiring. If that is our future, it means that all of our hard work will be worth it. Yes, it will. Anyway, One-sama, what does going around unlocking windows like this have to do with the hard work you're talking about? It was the middle of the night. They were following behind servants who were checking the locks on the doors and windows and undoing those locks after the servants thought they had locked them. It felt more like a child's prank than the work of a witch. This is the path that leads to becoming a great witch. All journeys begin with a single step. To those who cannot understand, that first step may look quite foolish from time to time. However, it is still a momentous first step. With pride, as though making the first step for mankind on the surface of the moon, the older sister undid the lock on a window with a click. Do you not understand, my little sister? Can you not see what makes something like this momentous? No, One-sama. I don't really understand. The older sister closed her eyes lightly, smiled, and opened the unlocked window a crack. Cool outside air flowed in, making the curtains flutter. Let us put it in the toxin-filled words of a human. We are not supposed to exist on this island. I shall go further. Right now, there is no one in this corridor. And yet, the lock has been undone, and the window has opened. Can you see how great a miracle, a work of magic, a proof of our existence that is? Even you should understand the coolness of this breeze. I do understand. It's nice and cool. The coolness, the softness of the breeze, and the feel of the fluttering curtain touching your hair. All these things show that we truly do exist here. So, by unlocking a window like this, we can leave behind proof that we really did exist. And that is why I unlocked them. Of course, it wasn't just a small pranks like opening a window. She could also smash windows and vases or leave behind strange fires and mysterious scribbles. In fact, one time she actually did play a large-scale prank in the kitchen, piling up kitchenware in an eerie manner and leaving behind a bizarre scribble which scared the servants considerably. It had been a complete success. It had been truly terrifying, and she had succeeded in making the servants acknowledge the existence of magic, weakening the anti-magic toxin. I feel bad for Kumasawa now, damn. However, she chose to make her presence known by unlocking windows. By doing this, she could release herself from the restrictions imposed by the human's toxin. One day, we will become a single witch and control all of Rokkenjima. When that time comes, we will gain complete freedom and will be capable of stretching our wings as we please. We won't have to be afraid of anyone's gaze anymore. We'll be able to fly wherever we wish, disappear whenever we want, laugh however we like, prank whoever we like, talk with anyone we want to. Humans might ask things of us from time to time. They might fight with us or play with us too. What wonderful things for us frail creatures who cannot appear before anyone to look forward to. Right now, they are little more than pranks. However, as they pile up, proof that we exist will begin to gather. The servants already call me the Witch Beatrice, Master of the Night, and are beginning to believe in me bit by bit. The more they believe, the more those humans will lose their anti-magic toxin. I see. So this means that Father has no anti-magic toxin. And that's because he truly believes in the existence of the witch I am, without any doubts. I finally realized that, though I thought him to be cold, Father did possess a kindness that couldn't be seen. I'd like to become a great witch and appear in front of everyone soon. Eventually, we will be able to appear openly in front of anyone. By doing that repeatedly, we will make people believe in us, and eventually, we shall display even our magic for all to see. After that happens, we will descend upon Rokkenjima as the great witch you told me of. The logic of the witch side is very interesting. It keeps me entertained. It does sound credible in a way. When humans are warned that they're about to enter a famously haunted place, a hotspot for ghosts, they're likely to start yelling "ghost, ghost" at the drop of a hat. That's right. All phenomena are fundamentally neutral, indifferent, and dull. If one wishes to have them be accepted in a certain manner, they must first create a suitable environment. If a person has charisma, people will interpret what they do in a positive way, even when they screw up. I see. I guess in that sense, the Beato's small efforts aren't for nothing. If it were just the mansion's locks being undone, everything could be resolved by saying that someone forgot to lock up, or that it was even some kind of prank. It is the rumors of a witch wandering about the mansion night after night that give form to the existence of the witch. An environment was established such that, if anything strange happened in the mansion at night, it would all be viewed as the work of the witch. I get it. If things reached a point where no one questioned that logic, it would mean the same thing as a witch existing in the mansion at night. After the Beatos finished their mischief of unlocking and opening the window, they enjoyed the coolness of the wind and the brightness of the moon, and then became golden butterflies and disappeared into the darkness. There was no way of knowing whether the window they had opened had actually been opened by them. The servants might have forgotten to lock up, or one of the family might have opened it after the servants had locked up and forgotten to shut it again. Or maybe someone had played a prank. In the same way that none of those possibilities could be denied, it was also impossible to deny the possibility that a witch really had opened a window to enjoy the night breeze. An outcome without an observer can possess an endless number of ways in which it might have occurred. Those humans who can only conceive of a single possibility are unable to imagine anything. However, people who believe in the possibility of a witch can imagine that it was a witch's prank. When that happens, the scene of the Beatrice's prank that we have just seen is etched into the fragment as a fact. That's one of the foundations of magic. Decorating the process. With just a little magic, even a mass-produced stuffed animal can be reborn as a wonderful, unique stuffed animal filled with a mother's love. If you doubt it, it will be burnt by the anti-magic toxin. If you believe it, the magic will become the truth. Not all magic is bad. Ryo Nechan was right. Good magic exists too. The power to repel evil magic may be necessary for a child of man. However, it is part of the love of the human world not to burn away and defile love-filled magic. Well, good magic is the only kind I'm willing to allow. For all other kinds, the best remedy is to deny them and burn them away. A typical answer for a child of man. Getting back to the point. What all this tells me is that the ghost Beatrice, who is called the ruler of Thokanjima's night, doesn't really exist. It's nothing more than a general term for any inexplicable occurrences that took place in the mansion at night. In other words, Beatrice isn't the name of a person, it's the name of a phenomenon. If anything bizarre happens, it all becomes the work of the Golden Witch. Any environment in which there could be a witch is, in fact, Beatrice itself. It all piles up until we reach 1986. This is the veil that the true culprit is hiding behind. and the person hiding behind it is, without a doubt, one of the humans. Let us say that this holds true at this point in the witch's tale of the past. However, I doubt you can use that argument alone to fight all the way through 1986. Ridiculous. Someone obviously must have forgotten to lock up. Well, you may say that, but this is just something that happened once or twice. In other words, you're a klutz, a fool, and a moron of a servant who forgot to check not just once or twice, but many times over. Shannon isn't the only one. What happened to his voice? Shannon isn't the only one. That same window was always opened, even when other servants did the rounds. George. This little girl just called your future wife a klutz and a moron, and that's your defense. My God. Sorry, I'm preemptively mad at him for things that he talks about later. Don't worry about it. We'll get to it this episode. And it's just stuff he says, so that doesn't feel like a spoiler, but oh my god, I'm already mad. But also, like, he doesn't even try to defend her, really, just the story that she's telling. Come on, man. Step it up. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. I'm not mad. Yeah, Mom even asked me if I'd ever left a window open in the hall at night. I had absolutely nothing to do with it, but she still got pissed. Sheesh. Yeah, that's same level of mad, Cat. Yeah. I'm sure. What was that? Hold on, I can do better. I'm so mad, I'm forgetting the voices. I'm sure Beatrice wanted to gaze at the moon. Ew. It is a bit creepy to have that happen over and over at the same window. And that time where the kitchenware was piled up in the kitchen with a creepy magic circle scribbled there? That sounds even more freaky. Yes. They said it was an eerie magic circle drawn with something like blood. Ever since then, people have been scared to patrol the kitchen. About the case of the eerie magic circle in the kitchen, who witnessed that? It wasn't me. I think I heard about it from a servant kid who quit. I wasn't on duty that day. Then there you have it. In the same way that stories about popular haunted locations become exaggerated, you servants like to have a little fun telling ghost stories about the mansion at night, don't you? By doing that, you speak as though the witch exists and infect others with that belief. So, all the eerie things that were supposedly done by Beatrice are either the result of coincidence and accident, or completely cooked up stories that people fabricated for fun. Is that what you're trying to say? Exactly. Of course there's no way Beatrice exists. Beatrice exists. I'm glad you understand so well, Valor-san. I imagine there does exist some human person with that name, or else multiple specific or non-specific people who acted under such an alias. However, this golden witch Beatrice that we hope and fantasize might exist is completely and unequivocally impossible.
Beatrice exists. I've met her. Oh, could you tell me about that in detail? You met Beatrice. And did she show you magic or something? Ooh, I see her all the time. Every time I come to Rokajima. And she always shows me fun magic.
Denying the existence of the witch would always have the immediate effect of infuriating Maria. However, Erika, who didn't know to avoid this topic, had challenged her head-on. But no matter how Maria tried to smooth over the matter of Beatrice's existence, she stood no chance of defeating the ruthlessly intelligent Erika in an argument. George and Jessica hurried to calm Maria down, but Maria's anger could not be settled by this point.
Good. So, she showed you magic. Could you explain in detail what kind of magic? She would always use magic to give me candy as a present. Beato can create candy with magic. Are you sure she didn't just take it out of her pocket? No, she didn't. It was magic. It was incredible. Tons of candies poured out of an empty cup.
Wow, that's some awesome magic. That's right, that really would be magic.
Yeah, it was magic. It really was empty. I checked inside it myself.
Excuse me. What do you mean you checked inside it? Give it a rest, Erika-san. She's just a kid.
Anyway, Erika-sama, would you like some more tea? No, thank you. I'm having a seriously intellectual discussion over here. You outsiders can stay out of this. You'll have to tell me in more detail, Maria-san. What do you mean when you say that you checked inside it? Fortunately, we have right here with us a teacup that's just been overturned and emptied. Will you do me the favor of recreating the circumstances for me right now? Let's see it, if you would. Let's see it.
After holding the cup of black tea, which he had just overturned and was still dripping, upside down over the table, Erika slammed it down hard and slid it over to Maria. Erika's eyes glowed repulsively, like those of a snake about to snap up a frog. Those eyes were ice cold and had a madness in them that made one want to avert their gaze. On the other hand, Maria was glaring furiously, her whole body shaking uncontrollably, in the greatest expression of anger that a human can manage. The look on her face was frightening, not at all something one would expect to see on a 9-year-old girl.
Stop it, both of you. Ooh, I'll show you what Beatrice did. Just like this. She took the empty cup, and she put it upside down on the table. Yes, and then? Did she then immediately lift it up and candies flowed out? Incredible. That really would be magic, if it happened that way.
Valor and the others tried to get between the two and calm them down, but it was no use. The two violently pushed aside the others, and, glaring at each other from so close that their foreheads banged together, they repeatedly slammed down the upside-down cup on the table. The sound of their foreheads banging together and the cup being slapped down shattered the barrier between reality and illusion. Hey fellas, have you ever headbutted someone so hard that it shattered reality? Holy shit. I'm gonna need some tea for this. I mean, Maria's a witch, and Erika's a witch's piece. And, officially a witch now, actually. So it all checks out, you know. This is how witches fight.
It is magic. It is magic. Beato used magic to make candies appear. Then why don't you reproduce it for us? Founder of Mariage Sorcière and Witch of Origins, Maria.
Lady Erika, this opponent is not worth your time. This battle is not worth fighting.
Shut up, ball-jointed murder doll. Alright, how do you claim that the overturned cup was filled with candies? Just turning the cup over won't make candies come out, because you have to use magic to make them come out. Beato can use magic because she's a witch. Oh yes, magic. See, she used magic.
How did she use magic?
Did she swing a magic wand and tap the cup to make candies pour out? No, that can't be it, right? Right? Beato is a witch, so she used magic. Magic is when you say an incantation and cause a miracle. You can't use the magic that makes candy unless you say the incantation. Oh, sure, understood. Good, yes, good. Let's see this incantation. Let's see this magic. Come on. What kind of incantation would a witch use? What kind? Come, try to picture it. The inside of the cup is filled with candies. Try to picture such a wonder. Oh, and then what? Look, inside of the cup. The inside of the cup is filled with candy.
Maria grasped the overturned cup so tightly that it nearly cracked, and slowly lifted it up. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Erika is fun to voice. Like, she sucks, but she has that as a redeeming quality. Then, from the inside, as many cute candies as the cup could hold poured out. Maria looked at Erika with a full smile, as though saying, "That showed you."
Good. Is this what you call Beatrice's magic? Lenore? Beat her to death.
As you wish.
I won't let anyone deny Beato's magic. After all, magic is magic. Magic is impossible. You might be telling a lie about something that never happened.
A repetition has been requested. Failure to respond will be a violation of Nox's 7th commandment.
I'll respond. This is the truth. This story really happened. This wouldn't have anything to do with a trick in the actual cup or table, making this just a sleight of hand, right? That would be against the rules, wouldn't it?
Hidden devices and tricks are in violation of Nox's 3rd commandment. However, if and only if foreshadowing has been presented, these are permitted by Nox's 8th commandment. Nox's 3rd commandment prohibits hidden doors and devices that have no clues pointing towards them. However, by presenting foreshadowing and clues that point towards the existence of said devices, Nox's 8th commandment allows them to be used.
They had no tricks like that in them. It was just an ordinary table and an ordinary cup. So it's magic, not a trick.
Understood. By Nox's 9th commandment, Lady Maria's account of witnessing magic is permissible.
That's right. With the ninth at least. Observers are always allowed to speak their personal opinions. Otherwise, mysteries where the culprit is seen dressed up as a woman and it's written, "I saw a woman," would all be disqualified. Sure, that's fine. Claim that you saw magic all you want. All truths are nothing more than claims. So, I'll make a claim separate from yours and smash right through yours. That is the detective's duty, and the time we shine the most. You can't break through this. This is magic.
Since it is magic, only witches can use it, right?
That's right. Only witches can use it.
So, if a human like me could use it too, that would mean it isn't magic, right?
You can't use it. Only Beato can use magic.
Good. Then why don't I show you? I'll make candy appear from out of this empty cup.
I'd like to see you try. Impossible. Impossible. Useless. Useless. There's no way a human can do it.
Then please,
Please, please. Just relax and watch.
Okay, here we have an empty cup. Is that okay? It is, isn't it? Then we turn it over on the table like this. Let it be known that this fight has no point. Okay, I'm going to say the incantation for creating candies now. In fact, why don't we say it together? Come, try to picture it.
The inside of the cup is filled with candy. Try to picture such a wonder.
Stop. Maria-san, why do you close your eyes when you say the incantation? Why not witness the miracle of magic?
Humans are stained by the anti-magic toxin. If a lowly human saw it, the miracle of magic would be wiped out of existence. That's why there's a rule that says lowly humans have to close their eyes when using magic.
I see. Okay, I understand the protocol used by humans performing magic. In other words, not once have you ever witnessed the moment the magic happened. Isn't that right? Look, it's done. Please, lift up the cup. After all, I've used the magic to make candies appear.
There's no way someone who makes fun of witches could use the candy magic.
Then if it actually did work, all the better. After glaring at Erika with the utmost of malice, Maria slowly stretched her hand out towards the overturned cup. There was no way that Erika, someone who made fun of witches like this, could ever use magic. There was no way that there'd be candy there. So, how's it look inside? And there, in a cute wrapper, lay a single candy. See? This is magic, right? Erika smiled gently. A look of disbelieving shock rose in Maria's eyes, along with envy for this person who could use the same magic as Beato.
Erika, you can use magic too?
See? It's magic, isn't it? What I did there.
Yeah.
So in other words, Erika smiled pleasantly. She and Maria had finally reached a deep understanding. You're a moron. While you had your eyes closed, I just lifted the cup up
and tossed a candy in. Call that magic? It's just a third-rate trick. There's my blue truth as the detective. And now, as the Witch of Truth, I present to you my red truth. Your so-called candy magic is nothing more than sleight of hand. A mere trick that the fake witch calling herself Beatrice or whatever claimed was magic. I mean, seriously, did you really get fooled by such a dumb trick? The magic your perspective speaks of can't be trusted in the slightest. Everything you ever thought was magic was just a trick that you didn't get. There's no way there's such a thing as magic. There's no way magic exists.
Huh? It's our boy. Wow, he's been gone so long.
Putting the candy in this cup might have been your sleight of hand, but that doesn't prove that Beatrice's magic was also a sleight of hand. However, you also can't prove that it could only have been done with magic. You rotten stuffed animal.
For your attention, I beg to inform you of the following.
Know that this meaningless battle ends here. You damn scraps of paper! Why'd you have to butt in at the good part?
That is enough. Lady Maria has been shown that the magic which makes candy appear in a cup could possibly be a trick that she misunderstood to be magic. Therefore, her claim that it was magic is dismissed.
However, it might really have been magic when Maria saw it. Just because it can be done by sleight of hand doesn't disprove magic.
Well done, Lady Erika. Congratulations on crushing Lady Maria's witch illusion. Witch illusions are an attempt to make others acknowledge the existence of magic by claiming that something would be impossible without it. That is the attack used by witches. If someone can argue back and say that it would be possible without magic, the witch illusion is defeated, and the witch must retreat. The magic that Maria claimed to have seen had the possibility of being a trick, so it was unqualified to be acknowledged as magic. That was only the result of this battle. It was still too early to bring the fight into the domain of denying everything else Maria believed in: the existence of Beatrice, witches, and magic. However, battles will always end instantly when your opponent surrenders. Erika had wanted to hit Maria with everything at once, defiling the witch and magic she believed in, and crushing it without a fragment of compassion.
Just one more step and I'd have been able to take a heart as pure as the smooth sand just after a wave is pulled back and tear it to bits. What a shame. This isn't any fun anymore. Are you satisfied now? Ouch. Oh.
Erika grumpily punched the arm of Delanorus that was restraining her. However, that cold, hard, marble-like arm just made Erika's hand hurt.
Diplomatic immunity. This battle is over.
Who taught you words like that? For your attention. Diplomatic immunity accepted.
Know that this fight is childish in the extreme. Did you say something?
She did not. Let us withdraw. Lady Maria is no match for you, Lady Erika. There is no need to pay any attention to small fry such as this.
You're right. How childish of me, tearing a kid's dreams apart. I'm really sorry, okay? I apologize for my momentary lack of elegance. Let's go.
Erika's group turned their backs on Maria, who was still crouching down limply. However, as detectives and famous mysteries have always done in the past, Erika clapped her hands, stopped, and turned around.
Oh, that's right. Your thoughts? All it takes is the presence of an overturned cup, and a deduction like this becomes trivial for Furudo Erika. Your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen?
Erika's merciless words gouged themselves into Maria's heart once more. Erika left, leaving an evil laugh behind her. After bowing to Maria and Sakutaro, Delanor left too. Gertrude and Cornelia followed suit. After that, only Maria and Sakutaro were left in the lonely Golden Land.
Uryu. Beato is a witch. Uryu. Beato is a witch. It was magic. It was magic. It was magic. Beato used magic to give you candy. You don't need to doubt that. Uryu. Please believe in Beato. You know that magic can't bear fruit unless you believe.
Crying noises. In the middle of an ice-cold drizzle, which had started falling at some point, Maria sobbed. Trying to at least protect her from the rain, Sakutaro used his large sleeves to cover Maria's head, and stayed there by her side.
Okay, let's go, Maria. Let's play cards together in the room upstairs.
Erika-san, as an adult, I cannot condone that conversation just now.
My apologies. I am still just a kid after all.
After seeing that wonderful candy magic brutally insulted by Erika, Maria had been crying this whole time. I started noticing it at the quiz party after dinner. But your personality? Screwed up. Is this fun for you? Are you enjoying tearing a little kid's dreams apart?
Please stop, Balor-sama. Please, for my sake, don't push any further here. Please.
Shannon, who had been looking flustered, bowed her head deeply and implored Balor to stop. George, who didn't want Shannon pressured, fell in line. Let's go. Let's spend this year in the cousins' room too. We can watch TV and play cards. I've heard that Erika-san has her own room. Shannon, please guide her.
Oh, no need to bother yet. I'll relax down here for a little while longer. I want to savor it a bit.
What the hell are you trying to savor? Balor and the others could no longer hide their irritation. They had no obligation to entertain their uninvited guest any further than this. Erika herself understood perfectly well that no place would welcome a detective. Girl, that's not true. That's not true and you know it. Balor and the others wanted to leave, and Erika wanted to stay. Neither had any desire to stop the other. Jessica urged Maria, who was still crying, to come along. Then, Maria stopped and spun around.
Got a problem? They do exist here and there. Humans that are practically lumps of the toxin that doesn't believe in magic. There are many boys like you in my class. They don't believe in witches, or magic, or miracles, or happiness. You can't become a witch if you let the toxin of people like that burn you to ashes. I may not look it, but I'm Beatrice's disciple. I'm the apprentice witch of origins.
Maria, who had been sobbing until a second ago, seemed to have transformed into an entirely different person. She laughed, no, cackled eerily. Balor's group stiffened up at this sudden change, but Erika was watching calmly. Then, she smiled and gave a small nod in response.
Good. You're not a bad opponent. Good night, Miss Maria. Let's fight in a more satisfying game next time. Sure, let's. It's a promise.
You stop that too, Maria. Come on, let's go. What about you, Shannon-chan? You can play cards with us if you want. Come on, join us for at least one round. It'll cheer you up.
Then, just for a bit.
Shannon couldn't remain in the suffocating lounge any longer either. In part apologetic and in part trying to escape, she followed after Balor's group. After that, Erika was the only one left in the lounge. Still wearing a thin smile, she tapped a glass with her finger. There was a light chink. A surprisingly boring sound. Even so, Erika wore a thin smile, as though pleased. She also has never heard of Miss Marple, who is like the friendliest, most welcome detective of them all. But still a very fucking good detective, so you know. Alright, I'm gonna be right back real quick, because I'm gonna swap out my headphones, because they hurt because of my glasses. So I'll be back in a second. Alright. That ought to do it. Let me just, yeah, alright. Oh, that is so much better. I can hear my own voice much better with these though, so that's gonna be weird. But, you know, I'll handle it. Thank you. Alright. Sorry to keep you waiting. I was just in the bath. Oh, where is everyone?
You just missed them. They went upstairs. I'm the one who called you here. I've heard that you know a lot of stories about
What the fuck? I mean, she was absolutely soaking mackerel brine, let's be real. Mackerel brine. Let me just restart that sentence over, because I just completely, like, tripped and fell on my face over that word. For no reason.
I've heard that you know a lot of stories about Akujikijima.
Last time I did it perfectly in one go. Very rude of me to not do it this time.
And the Witch of the Forest.
Yes, well... they are trivial stories, but...
I don't mind in the slightest if they're trivial. Would you like a drink to follow your bath?
Even I like... What? That was the wrong person.
Even I like to be helpful every now and then.
I don't believe that for a second, but okay. Also, do I have any hair ties here? Because my hair is gonna fuck up my tracking. Normally that's just like tied behind the headphones because, you know, big headphones. But I just need to go ponytail mode. There we go. Yeah, Erika always has an ulterior motive. Erika stood up, opened the refrigerator behind the counter, and put ice into the ice pail. And then they had a talk, I guess. You wish you could grow hair long enough? What's stopping you? Is it like hair, you know? Does it just not grow? Though, honestly, long hair could be a huge hassle, so it has downsides. Alright, here goes. Erika-chan, huh? She's an odd kid. Somehow I just can't seem to get along well with the young kids these days. George, you're 18. 19? I think he's 19. Is he 20? Still.
Thank you. You're still pretty young yourself, George-san.
Okay. That's an interesting mental image there. It just grows as a mound on your head. I get it now though, yeah. That won't turn into a ponytail. But, you know, it's still something. I guess. I don't know what I'm talking about. Don't worry about it. I'm just rambling, as always. I'm gonna drink some water. I guess it's because I've always been the oldest of the cousins. It's always made me feel like I'm not one of the young ones anymore. George and Shannon could be seen surrounded by the rainy rose garden. Though the rain was still pouring down, there was hardly any wind at all. The scant protection provided by the arbor was more than enough to house this secret meeting between lovers. Following that fight with Erika, the group had decided to play some cards for a change of pace. When that was over, Shannon returned to the servant room. And shortly after that, George left the room as well to meet Shannon here at the time they had arranged.
I think kids around Erika-san's age have a really hard time accepting themselves.
Yeah, that's true. Around that age, most kids are so determined to break out of the shell of childhood that they lash out in all directions with their beaks. Only once they manage to break through can they finally stretch their wings and fly high. I was like that too. When I was still inside that shell, I was a weak, deplorable man who didn't deserve any respect.
You weren't even... But that's not true.
No, it's okay. I realize it myself. Back then, I might have been the oldest of the cousins, but I was still a lazy, hopeless man. And it wasn't just with the cousins. At home, at school, I was like that everywhere. I hated being like that. I wanted to break that shell and become a splendid adult, like mother and father.
But in the end, you did break out of that shell, George-sama. Every time I've met you these past few years, you've grown beyond recognition.
Thank you.
Did something cause you to make up your mind?
To break out of my shell?
Yes. I can't imagine that you grew so rapidly, like a butterfly breaking out of its cocoon, by just wandering around aimlessly. I thought there must have been some turning point which made you become so determined.
I fell in love with you and grew thanks to the power of love, is what I've told you so far. But the truth is, the turning point was a much more negative emotion.
No way. It's hard to believe that someone who's always as bright and cheerful as you could have negative emotions.
Okay, Shannon, jeez. Well, my parents taught me to treat girls well. And I thought that I had succeeded in living that way.
Yes. I think you're a really wonderful gentleman.
But that was wrong. I didn't know how to interact with the opposite sex. I deified them excessively, and though I always behaved in a gentlemanly, ladies first kind of way, I was probably outright afraid of interacting with girls. Of course, George wanted to be around girls as much as any boy might. However, he didn't know how to interact with them. He wanted to act like a gentleman, avoid being disliked by them, and treat them with care. Of those feelings, only the words "treat girls well" took precedence, blossoming into a subconscious fear of women. Yes, someone give this boy a fedora. Jesus Christ. Don't... Sorry, it's very hard for me to take this seriously. It sounds textbook like, you know, internet. I don't know, we'll get it. I'll do my best. You might call a man like that gentlemanly or a late bloomer. Ridiculous. I was just a coward. Because of that, I started to wonder why I couldn't get a lover if I was so gentlemanly. And I eventually came to the conclusion that all the women in the world had no taste, and started to hate all of them stupidly. Oh, I forgot how bad this got. Oh god, George, you're such a fucking idiot. Oh my god, I'm so embarrassed for you. He's like, it's stereotypical internet nice guy, right? I was like, but I'm nice to people. Why don't they, like... And then when you actually kind of dig into it, they're not nice at all. They just treat every fucking interaction as a transaction, and it's like, I did something for you, now you have to do something for me, you have to like me. And it's like, just... Jesus Christ, George, what the fuck? Anyway. I'm here to read, not to go on fucking... I mean, okay, I get mad about the characters sometimes, right? Like, we've made a lot of fun of Krause's incompetence, Kinzo's everything. And somehow, George is the one I get most pissed at. Because it's the most realistic. Holy shit. Jesus, cat. I mean, that's how some of these people work. Yeah, it's... I couldn't finish the sentence in his voice because I got just so skeeved out. Anyway. Again, I'll do my best, but at least he acknowledges that that's what a truly pathetic man looks like. How many years ago was it when I noticed? It started when I was in middle school. You weren't a man, okay? You were a child. My god. At the time, I assumed that I was obviously the most gentlemanly of the cousins, so I would obviously be popular with women. You know, teenagers. However, reality was completely different. At school, I was pretty much completely hopeless. Far from being a leader, I was the bullied kid who got pushed around by everyone. At the time, I figured I was just a capable and adaptable man who could keep in perfect tune with his surroundings, yet the bullying implies otherwise, bud. How stupid. Not that, you know, people bully others for good reasons. It's always bad reasons, but... that's like the opposite of being in tune with your surroundings, no matter how you look at it. My god. Anyway. Sure, I might have gained some measure of trust from girls. However, not only was there no one who would become my girlfriend, I didn't even know any girls I could call a friend. Yeah, cause you were a little jackass. Of course, I was a man who always took a step back from girls, under the pretense of ladies first. Who would ever want to stand behind such a negative, unmotivated man? It's funny. I didn't even realize this, and thought I was a pretty attractive guy. He's literally talking about, like he's 20 now. He went on like the trip with Shannon 2 years ago, which was, he would have been 18. Right? Unless he's like 21, but still. And he's talking about fucking middle school. Anyway, I'm big mad about his whole thing. But it's fine. It's fine. It's like, I didn't really see women as people. Oh no. But I'm better now, I swear. That's why, you know, I kinda treat you as an object. And then she defends him, because of course she does. Shannon's too good. She's too good for him.
I can sort of understand how you felt. Just because someone puts in a lot of hard work to look attractive to the opposite sex it doesn't mean it will necessarily work out as they planned.
Has that happened to you too, Shannon?
Of course. One time, I wanted to catch a boy's eye so much, I tried to put on makeup even though I didn't know how and embarrassed myself. I remember a lot of embarrassing failures.
The person that finally made me get over my conceit and open my eyes was you, Shannon. No, it was all of you. All of you? What's that mean?
What was the turning point for you, George-san?
Envy, probably. Oh, he means all of the cousins.
That's unexpected. But envy for what?
I saw you and Ballerkun having a really good time talking. That made me envious. Reminder, this was 6 years ago.
Me and Balor-sama?
Shannon raced through her memories, trying to find a conversation that might have made George envious. It probably seemed trivial to you two. However, it still made me envious. I don't want Ballerkun to hear what I say next, no matter what. Can you promise me?
Of course.
It's going to be a shameful confession. Still, I want you to hear it. I want to hear your answer tonight, only after I've told you about my bad sides as well.
Okay. Okay. Let me hear it.
With a smile but a serious look in her eyes, Shannon nodded. Tonight. She knew what he was going to ask her tonight. George had the right to confess before asking that sacred question, and Shannon had the obligation to listen. Shannon understood this, so she listened quietly. So, this is what a witch of theater-going peeps in on during her spare time? Stories of love are truly timeless. I never tire of them. However, I do find that maidenly expression of disgust on your face even more charming. Featherine laughed quietly. Anja huffed and looked away. But she quickly realized that this would only entertain Featherine even more, so she tried to act unconcerned. Both Ballerkun and Jessica-chan have always been spirited. No, phrasing it that way is just dodging the point. Let me be frank. George looked up at where the moon should be, high above the rain clouds, and spoke. They were honest words, spoken from George's meek heart. For a long time back then, I thought of Ballerkun and Jessica-chan as bad-mannered kids. No, let me be more direct. I thought that even the way they talked was vulgar. It's true. I don't mind if you hold me in contempt for that.
I don't. People are allowed to think anything they want inside their hearts. In fact, I think you are all the more commendable for not letting it show on the outside.
Thanks. I secretly looked down on those two. I was so conceited that I truly thought I was just overflowing with gentlemanly charm compared to them. I was at that age where having a girlfriend felt like a necessary condition for becoming a real man. I truly believed that no girl could fail to admire a gentleman who treated girls as well as I did. So I really did assume that all the girls I knew were attracted to me.
thought that Battler-kun and Jessica-chan, who always joked around and spoke in a rude, vulgar fashion, would never be able to get a boyfriend or girlfriend. I might have used that argument to distract myself when I still couldn't get a girlfriend. At 14. I was a fool. They weren't inferior to me at all. I was the inferior one, with my deification of the opposite sex and my fear, which I hid under the guise of ladies first.
George, what the fuck?
That's been Balor's and Jessica's personality from the beginning. True, they were rude, and one couldn't have called them gentlemanly or ladylike. However, they did have the power to interact without worrying about their sexes. In fact, you might even call that their charm. I sort of understand. People like Oni-chan and Jessica Oni-chan can get along with anyone, whether that person's a boy or a girl. Apologies to George Oni-chan, but guys who try too hard to act like a gentleman, I find them a bit creepy. It's like they have delusions about women or something. See, Andrew gets it. People respect it when someone they are distant from is boring and harmless. However, they only like that person because he or she doesn't get in their way. No human being would want to deepen their connection with a boring person. Of course, no idiot would want to be friends with an unmoving, unspeaking telephone pole. However, unmoving and unspeaking is exactly what you'd want from a telephone pole. And that's it. It seems as though George finally discovered that he wouldn't be viewed as an attractive man no matter how superior he was. That he had been treated like a telephone pole the whole time. Back then, my conceit was at its peak. So when everyone gathered at the family conferences, I believed that I was the most attractive, that all the servant girls who played with us were in love with me. And then the day came when I finally realized how pathetic I was. Did I say something inconsiderate then? No, it's the opposite. You didn't say anything at all. My conceited delusion that I was the only one ever reflected in your eyes was crushed. Just when did it start? No, it must have started long before then. I only failed to notice because my eyes were clouded with conceit. One day, I suddenly realized it. You guys were getting along with Battler-kun and Jessica-chan far better than with me, playing around and having a good time. Yes. Hey Kat, how are you doing? Are you doing good? I just had to read a whole section of text that was literally just like incel bullshit, so I'm having a rough one. So I'm gonna go drink some water. There we go. Yes, those two whom I had looked down upon so much were radiating far more charm than I was. You really looked like you were enjoying yourself that day. The look on your face was far brighter than any you ever showed me. Sickening, isn't it? I just assumed that you liked me, and even had some childish fantasy that we might end up dating. Based on nothing at all, I felt as though my girlfriend had been stolen from me, and let myself feel hurt. Just how pathetic was I at that moment? When that happened, I finally realized how foolish I had been. I mean, at least he realized, but holy shit, man. I guess it's good that he realized it like at an early age. But with, you know, how he treats Shannon sometimes, I'm not sure, like,
the message got through entirely, honestly. And this is why I don't like George all that much. Because he's a fuckboy. Anyway.
George-sama.
After that, stuff happened and Balor-kun stopped coming to the family conferences, but I heard about him from time to time from Uncle Rudolph. Uncle Rudolph cares more than he shows. Even though he gets in fights with Balor-kun all the time, he's always paid close attention to his son's goings-on.
Yes, I've heard similar things. Even Asumi-sama despaired at how alike they were. She was sure that Rudolph-sama's blood was to blame for all the trouble caused by Balor-sama's popularity with the girls at school.
And Jessica-chan too. I'd heard that she'd built up a huge number of friends, both boys and girls, and that she was always the center of attention. When I actually talked with her, I realized that this was no exaggeration. That experience had shown that the two I had looked down upon were much more attractive human beings than I was. At first, I tried to imitate those two. It was pretty ridiculous. I thought that by joking around and speaking rudely, I could get that same charm they had.
You did that? It's a bit hard to picture.
It was pathetic. I wish I could forget that time for the rest of my life. In any event, I quickly realized that I would never gain any true charm by imitating them like that. I called it respecting people. I called it acting to fit in with the general atmosphere. But actually, I was always just running away, and this cowardice was the reason for my lack of charm. I resolved myself to overcome that flaw and be reborn. I finally understood the shell I was in, and swore to break out of it. Every time my resilience began to waver, I would remember that day. That day I saw you all forget about me entirely and play around happily. And the fact that those eyes of yours, which I always assumed were attracted to me, never noticed me at all. Also, I'm pretty sure that Shannon was 12 when this happened. She was 12 when that happened. I made an oath. This time, I would really make you take notice of me, and I would be reflected in your eyes. The truth is, that was the very first emotion. The start of me falling in love with you. Hey, so before I propose, let me tell you that I used to basically hate women. Because I thought I was so fucking fantastic, but they didn't like me. Because I kinda sucked, and I realized that later, right? So then I brainwashed myself, basically, into falling in love with you. Because I wanted attention so desperately. Hey, do you wanna get married? That's what he's doing. And this is why I don't like George all that much. And then she says yes. Help. This isn't okay. This is not okay. This is not how any of that works. You never liked George because he was boring? Well, I liked him better when he was just boring. He has hidden depths that I did not need in my life. Anyway, I'm fine. Yeah, sometimes, you can just not tell people about shit like this, It's fine. Although, I mean, It's probably better that he did tell her, because that's fucked up. That's a fucked up thing that she should be aware of. Like, the main reason I'm in love with you is because I basically wanted you to be in love with me. Like, what the how does that even fucking work? Anyway. I just want to get through this part. Just get it over with. Again, because this is so, like, this is what real people out there alive right now, people have this kind of mindset. And, like, well into adulthood, not just when they're kids either. So it's just, because of the realism there, it's hard to read.
It must have been complicated.
George, stop. Stop.
That day, I felt a desire for revenge against you all. No, against you specifically, for playing as a group and ignoring me. And before I knew it,
that emotion had transformed into triple love. What the fuck does that mean? George, what does that mean? What does that mean? What does that mean, George? Okay, so I was annoyed, right? Preemptively, because I knew this was coming up. This is worse than I remember. Okay, just get it over with. Yeah, this sounds like if I can't have you, no one can, you know? We're getting to that kind of territory. I don't like it.
However, I swear this to God, even though that was the reason I first started to take you seriously, there are no lies in the way I feel about you now. I swear to love you for all my life. I will not lie about that for anyone or anything. And I am prepared to take you as my wife, even if it means having the entire world as my enemy.
Like, that sounds romantic and all, but what does that mean in practice, though? I mean, oh my god. I really should have put incel bullshit as a content warning. I really should have. Again, this was worse than I remember it being. Okay.
George's son.
That is the confession I wanted to make to you beforehand. Oh, thank God it's over. Before now, I've called you my first love. Love at first sight. That was a lie. You just said that you wouldn't lie about that. You just said that you wouldn't lie about loving her.
It was only my selfish, twisted... That doesn't matter.
Shannon smiled, but she spoke forcefully enough to interrupt George's words.
Is there some rule saying that people can't get together just because they weren't each other's first love? Is it betrayal to forget the first person you fell in love with? Love isn't that simple. Well, it might be simple. After all, love is easy. Always, whatever you feel now, only the honest feelings you feel now can tell you the right answer. So things of the past or how our relationship started aren't important at all. Then, I confessed for nothing? No. I'm a bit glad to learn that even George-san, who's always perfect at everything, has a human side to him. And it makes me happy to know that I'm the only person you've told this to. Thank you. I was only able to become who I am because of you. Me too. I am as I am because of you, George-san. So please, tell me without holding back, what kind of husband and wife we will be? And what kind of future will we build together?
I'm stumbling over my words because I'm still upset. When I have you as my wife, I will become an even more accomplished businessman than my father. And through all kinds of challenges and adventures, I hope to explore the limits of my potential. I want to reach that peak together with you. The view from there will be something no one can show you but me.
What?
It sounds fun. Does it? Does it, Shannon? Does that sound fun? None of that was about you. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. It's fine.
I'll be with you wherever you go.
Of course, it won't only be an adventure as a businessman. I'd like to create many things that only a couple can make.
And what could that be?
Let's have some kids.
Yes, my husband.
I'd like 3 of them at the least. At least 1 boy and 1 girl. It's not a drive-through, George. Fine. I'm fine.
And what if all 3 are boys?
Then the next one might be a girl. We can make a 4th one. It doesn't matter how many. Let's enjoy the adventure of bringing them up together while I do while I am away for business all the time, right? 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 Let's forget the fucking cost that, having children takes on a person's body, like, yep, Just pump them out like... I'm so mad. It was the 80s, I guess, and, different time. I don't fucking know. Yeah, me too. Like, fucking... what? And when those children eventually leave their nest, they'll make us some grandchildren. And before we know it, we'll reach a boisterous old age surrounded by many children and grandchildren. I've yet to say anything about how we together will interact with each other. And in the past, this has mostly been me ordering you around. But that's fine. Sounds like fun. Kids, this is not how relationships should work, okay? Don't. If someone talks to you like this, fucking run. It's not good.
It sounds like fun. I wonder what kind of a grandpa you'll be.
And I wonder what kind of a grandma you'll be. However, I will always keep loving you. And when we eventually pass away, surrounded by our vast family, our lives will stretch behind us, unmatched by anyone else's. He's already planning for them dying. George didn't just talk about his love in the present. He swore to love her soul until the final moment, when the lids of their coffins would be shut. Then, George took a small box out of his pocket. Even without opening it, She knew what was inside. He took it out with emotion that was more natural even than the one he had practiced in the bathroom at the airport, and it was overflowing with charm. Sayo.
Yes.
Let's get married.
Yes.
Please, take this ring and put it on your finger.
Yes, George-san.
That ring, which glistened divinely even in the dim light of the arbor, passed from George's hand to Shannon's finger. Of course, Shannon had already decided which finger to put it on. I swear to resolutely stand against any fate which may attempt to get in the way of our future. George proclaimed that he would reveal their engagement to the entire family on the next day. My parents might criticize this marriage. However, I will not let them stop us. I'm going to inform them of our engagement, not ask for their permission. Mother says that she will not allow our marriage. I plan to have myself If Mother says that she will not allow our marriage, I plan to have myself disinherited, and we will leave this family together. I have been prepared for that since long ago. I swear, once again, to resolutely stand against all fates that get in the way of our future. George had said it aloud, so Shannon said the same thing.
Me too. I swear to stand against all fates that get in the way of our future.
I mean, at least he didn't order her this time, I guess? That's something. But like... you know. I'm still mad.
Balor-san, when will the crime start? I've just about had enough of this love show.
He didn't specify that it was an order, he just sort of said, hey, do it. Which, for him, is an improvement. Yeah, I don't know. I'm glad we got past that because that was very unpleasant to read. You might have noticed. I keep accidentally turning the eye patch on and off anyway. It's because I'm cringing so hard. Anyway, back to Balor, whom we know and love. Be quiet and watch.
Sure, fine. I'd hate to yawn and let some spectacular bit of foreshadowing slip by.
Do you have no love?
Are there any mysteries which accept love as proof? No, there aren't.
Erika laughed coldly and stared down at the two on the game board. Balor watched her quietly. Erika thought she felt a touch of pity in his gaze, and she averted her eyes uncomfortably.
I do understand, more or less. Love can at least become a motive for murder. I can interpret this scene beneath the armor to represent a possible motive for the crime if their engagement is somehow impeded. And then again, no matter how much people talk of love with words that aren't read, it's all just an illusion.
That's very sad. You can't even love anyone without proof given to you by a witch.
Please put an end to this frivolous romance talk. I am your enemy, not some eccentric friend of yours content to engage with your ramblings about love. I can't understand you at all anymore. What on earth did you figure out? Weren't you and Beato always insulting and trying to kill each other? What kind of truth could you have reached to make you change your emotions regarding her? Please don't tell me that feelings of true love have sprouted from your murderous rivalry or something ridiculous like that.
Lady Erika. Let us have him continue the game's progression. Boring love scenes such as this are best finished quickly.
You've got a point there. Sorry for butting in. Come on, let's move on.
Maybe Erika will fall in love with Ballard. Oh my god. Cursed words.
It's Shannon. I've come back.
The log for today hasn't been filled out yet.
Yes, I'll do that right away. Kanon-kun, thanks for keeping an eye out while I was gone.
That was a pretty long break. Kanon had already noticed. There was a silvery glint coming from the ring finger on Shannon's left hand. Then I will retire. Please do not hesitate to wake me if anything occurs.
Good night, Genji-sama.
Genji disappeared off to the waiting room. After that, only Shannon and Kanon remained.
Thanks for giving me some time. I'll be staying here, so you can take a break now if you want.
In other words, it's my turn now.
Yeah. Sorry, but we aren't going to lose.
And I won't lose either.
Even though you've always been a coward and let my lady take the lead until now?
Wasn't it you who taught me, Neso?
What did I teach you?
The past is immaterial when it comes to love. The present is all that's important. If that is true, then I think my present is in no way inferior to yours, Nesan. Shannon and Kanon glared at each other with serious eyes. That period of tension vanished when Shannon chuckled.
Yeah, that's good. You and Milady have to give it your all. If you do end up together, make sure you build up a relationship wonderful enough that we can cheer you on with all our hearts.
Wow, you do have a huge lead on me.
Nothing to be done about that. That's what you get for your cowardice before now.
I know. That is my sin. Shannon and Kanon fished around in their pockets and drew out two small things that glittered gold. They looked like the left and right wings of a gold butterfly.
We are furniture. In order to become human and receive the miracle that allows us to love, we must rely on a miracle of magic once again.
To think that her brooch would prove useful.
It's the only magic within our reach.
It was the golden butterfly brooch, which Beatrice had once given to Shannon in the hopes of creating love between her and George. Shannon had given it to Kanon, but he had let his emotions get a hold of him and had crushed it into pieces. So when the two wings they held were brought together, it would regain the form of a beautiful butterfly. Then I'll be back soon. After all, they've asked me to play cards with them.
Yeah. Good luck. I'm sure Milady will be happy.
It's a bit embarrassing.
Enjoy it. That feeling.
Kanon left the servant room. He went to go see Jessica and tell her what he had determined to do. Shannon quietly watched him go. The fragment of the brooch in the engagement ring let off a gold and silver glint. That takes me back. That's something I gave Shannon, if I recall. I always wondered what that disappeared to after Conan stepped on it, but it seems they still had it all the time. That's the golden butterfly brooch, isn't it? I read about the magical brooch that can save a love relationship in Feathering Sun's book. And that had been the first moment that Beatrice, Witch of the Forest, had met with a human and given them her power. Bit by bit, she had ascended from a mere ghost to the ruler of the mansion at night, and by making the servants believe in her, she had wiped away the anti-magic power. And then, it eventually became possible for her to appear openly in front of Shannon, whose magic resistance had grown particularly low, and who had begun to believe in the existence of Beatrice. To Beato, who had been unable to interact with anyone for many years, this conversation with Shannon must have been especially fun. That's why I generously gave her the butterfly brooch. I was in quite a good mood. It is no common thing for a heartless witch such as myself to be so gracious. But it's wonderful. You brought a pair of future lovers together. Of course, I did not do it to pamper them. It was in exchange for smashing that hateful spirit mirror that had repressed my magical powers. Thanks to that, I was able to regain much of my power all in one go. But then, one night, purple lightning smashed the shrine. Those of the surrounding islands called it an evil omen. Oh, now that I think of it, that must have been a prelude to Beatrice-sama's resurrection. Kumasawa had the rest of the night off, so she had let Erika talk her into drinking a bit, and was chatting about the legend of Akujikijima and Beatrice in a happy, tipsy mood. Erika would nod from time to time, but she listened very closely. She wasn't actually taking notes, but she was gathering the information on the whiteboard inside her head. Then, she frowned as though noticing something out of place and held up her hand.
Wait a second.
Yes?
That shrine was built by a traveling mountaineering ascetic to seal up the evil spirits of Akujikijima.
Akujikijima?
Isn't that right?
Yes, that is correct. It was one who possessed a vast supernatural power, and who placed that power within the mirror.
And placed it within the shrine as a sacred mirror to seal the evil spirits. Something feels off about that. Why would a shrine to seal the evil spirits of Akujikijima also seal Beatrice?
Well, that's because the power of the sacred mirror.
I see. So it's this really convenient sacred mirror that works on both evil spirits from the east and witches from the west. Got it. I'm still not satisfied, but I'll back off there for now. What I don't understand is why Beatrice can't stand spiderwebs.
According to the legend, the evil spirits of Akujikijima despised spiderwebs, so they were apparently used as wars against evil on the islands around here. Actually, spiders are a useful bug. The farmers of the islands may well have treasured them. It's very possible that the farmers called them wards against evil, tying them to the stories about evil spirits, in order to create a tradition of people treating this useful bug with care through the generations.
But that's just the legend of Akujikijima. The origins for the legend of the witch Beatrice came after Ushinomiya Kinzo moved to this island, when rumors sprouted about the mysterious legend of the gold and his mistress who gave it to him as a witch. In other words, the evil spirits of Akujikijima and the Golden Witch Beatrice are completely different things. And yet, the same things are said about them. Well now. The evil spirits of Akujikijima couldn't stand spiderwebs. So, neither could Beatrice. That sort of reasoning has been applied all over the place. When it was pointed out that this was strange, Kumasawa was lost for an answer. The doorknob to Kinzo-san's study has a scorpion magic circle drawn on it, which represents a charm against magic in Western sorcery. That's why the Western witch Beatrice can't touch it. I can understand that part. But there's no reason for Beatrice to dislike spiderwebs. I don't remember spiderwebs ever being included among things Western witches can't stand. On the contrary, wouldn't spiders be the friends and minions of a witch? Well, in my opinion, these two legends about the evil spirits of Akujikijima and the witch Beatrice have become a little mixed together. In fact, maybe they've been fully joined together as one. The legend of Akujikijima is a fairy tale created by fishermen fearful of reefs in the Rokkanjima area. However, there is no visual image to go along with those evil spirits. Were they people, or monsters, or ghosts without legs? There's no mental picture of them. People are bad at imagining things without visuals. And then the legend of the witch called Beatrice came in. A witch is a lot easier to picture than evil spirits. And on top of that, Kinzo-san had a portrait of Beatrice drawn and displayed. In other words, the lack of a visual image, which was the one weak point in the legend of Akujikijima, was finally completed. Perhaps the two legends became mixed together at some point after that.
Well, I wonder. It is a bit confusing for an old lady such as myself. Kumasawa laughed to smooth it over, wiping away a cold sweat. She might have seemed confused, but she actually did understand what Erika was saying. In truth, she did have a rough understanding of how the legend of Akujikijima, which had been around before Ushiramiya Kinzo had come to Rokkanjima, and the legend of the Golden Witch, the story of the woman who had given Kinzo a vast quantity of gold, had changed over time. She didn't want to admit it, but she knew. Beatrice's backstory, that she hated the spirit mirror and spiderwebs, had actually been based on the ancient legend of Akujikijima. The evil spirits part of that legend had just been replaced by the witch of the portrait.
So, if there really was someone claiming to be the Golden Witch Beatrice, I'd really like to ask her whether she actually does hate spiderwebs or not. What happens when she touches them?
It is said that witches and their minions receive burns when they touch spiderwebs. So that is probably what would happen, I would say.
That's not bad. A splendid witch trial. If the spiderweb touches her and she gets burned, then she's an evil spirit, not a witch. And if nothing happens, then it proves she's just a human. In other words, whether she's burned or not, it will prove that the Golden Witch doesn't exist. The legend of the witch is nothing more than the legend of Akujikijima reboiled with a new face on it.
Well,
all it takes is the presence of a legend, and a deduction like this becomes trivial for Fururo Erika. Your thoughts, ladies and gentlemen?
Though only the two of them were in the lounge, Erika faced in the direction of an invisible audience. Faced the direction an invisible audience would have been if there was one, and shrugged. And, to match Erika's imagination, the two of them actually were there, listening in.
Spiderwebs? They burn if you touch them.
when Beato the Elder snapped her fingers. A graceful silver spider slipped down from the ceiling, hanging by a transparent thread. Afterwards, only a single silver strand remained. Timidly, Beato stretched her finger out towards the spider's string, and she touched it. I'm fine. You are? Huh? Beato the Elder lifted up a white, pale finger, and after showing it to her little sister, she traced the silver string with it. There was a stench like a single hair being burnt. Once again, she held her finger up in front of Beato, who was dumbfounded. There was a thin burn line, as though someone had traced across it with a razor. What does this mean? That's what I would like to know. Why are you unharmed? I don't know. What I don't understand is why you do get burnt by touching a spiderweb. I do not know. It has always been like that since I first gained consciousness. Then, are you... Beato hesitated. However, her question was clear. No, I am not one of the evil spirits of Akujikijima. I am Beatrice, ruler of the Rokajima's night. Even I do not know why I have the same weakness as this island's evil spirits of old. Are spiderwebs the only things you can't handle? As this Erika said, I can't touch the doorknob to Kinzo's study. That scorpion magic circle burns me. For me, trying to open the door to that study is like trying to pick a red-hot horseshoe out of a fire. What about you? Huh? Scorpion magic circles, you mean? The older sister snapped her fingers again. When she did, the surrounding scene bent and twisted, and they had suddenly moved to the place in front of Kinzo's study. And there was the doorknob engraved with the scorpion magic circle. Those who research sorcery must have a refuge sealed off from both human and spiritual disturbances. It is no surprise that Kinzo chose to seal off his study and place a charm such as this here. And, unfortunately, that affects me as well, as I will show you. She gently grasped the doorknob. As she did, a violent burning sound, unbelievably stronger than the one caused by the spiderweb, rang out. One-sama, are you okay? Your hand, Her hand had been horribly burnt, and Beato couldn't help but avert her eyes. Fear not. This scratch will heal quickly. Apparently, it would heal by itself if left alone. The older sister seemed to heal at an inhuman rate. However, it seems that you can handle it just fine. Go. She timidly poked the doorknob. Nothing happened. Slowly, she touched it with her entire palm, but she felt nothing but a pleasantly cool sensation. Strange. Though you are my double, you are different from me in several ways. While I might be able to touch the doorknob, if I ever get burnt like you did, I don't think I would heal that easily. It's as though you're a normal human. Yes. Even I find it a little hard to believe that I'm a witch. I can't use magic like you, and I can't get strange burns or heal from them later. Father believed that I was a great witch reborn, but I cannot believe that. Who are you? I am Beatrice. I was born for Father's sake, And you, Onesama? I am also Beatrice. I used magic to give Kinzo gold, and later became a soul and the formless witch that haunts this island. Just who on earth are we? Unlike me, it seems that you possess a body. Huh? Really? Yes. It occurred to me while listening to that Erika person. I am a witch who can use magic but has no body, and you are a witch who has a body but can use no magic. Eventually, perhaps we will become one, each filling in what the other lacks, and become the true, complete Beatrice. It did seem plausible. Both of the Beatrices were missing something. If they were to become one, then surely they would be very close to the Beatrice that Balor desired. Do you want to try? Huh? Hold out your hand. The older sister slowly raised her palm and held it out before Beato. The large burn from a second ago really had started to heal already. It may be possible for us to become one. I want to know as well. By becoming one with you, I want to learn about my future self. Beato also raised her hand slowly, and the two hands touched. But nothing happened. Perhaps this meant that, while they were fated to become one eventually, that time had not yet come. For me, being burned by spiderwebs is perfectly normal. However, you didn't even know about it. In the same way, you say that the reason you were born was for your father's sake. Apparently, that father is Ushinomiya Battler. I know him as a rare guest who only comes a few times a year. But I cannot understand what connection you and I have with such an infrequent guest. Surely, we must learn more about each other. Yeah, you're right. I get the feeling that learning about each other will lead us to something very important. On the other side lies the single future Beatrice. No, it may be more correct to say that it is the true form we are supposed to possess. With their hands still joined, the two Beatrices swore to fill in the parts the other lacked, and regain their single form. Bit by bit, Beato was walking down the path that led to the former Beatrice. And that's where I'm going to end the stream today. On a good note, thankfully. And next time we're going to dive right into horror. So yeah, like, you know, looking after each other and stuff, and filling in each other's like flaws and working together. That's more like what a marriage is, right? Although in this case it's also kind of, because they're the same person, it's also kind of like self-care in a way. I don't know. Anyway, it's this was one hell of an episode. It was all over the place. But you know, it was a good one, as always. I'm still mad about George. I will never not be mad. But at least now I can talk about it, because this has been like in the back of my mind throughout the whole playthrough so far. But yeah, I'm glad it was entertaining. Alright. I'm going to wrap up and turn off the game, And turn on some music as well. And then I'm gonna say thank you all so much for watching, for, you know, being in the chat or lurking or whatever it is, watching the VODs. I appreciate it so much, and I hope you're having fun. I'm still enjoying the series a lot, because again, I fucking love the series. I say that every week. And yeah, have a good night. See you all next time, hopefully. With, you know, New Year's and stuff coming up, it's like right in the weekend, so streaming schedule is going to continue as normal. Art stream on Monday, and Umineko is going to be back next week on Wednesday at the usual time, barring any like emergencies and you know, real life shit. As always. And then next year we're probably gonna plan another Umineko watch party for the horrible anime. So if you want in on that, we do have a Discord that you can join. It's a horrible mess in like the best way. So no time for that yet, but I'm working on it. But yes, that's gonna be it for me for tonight. Have a good day, have a good night, have a good week. Thank you again for watching, and bye bye.